Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. So those of you who are new to us, this is R&R Sugarloaf Farm. I'm Ryan, and we have a dairy goat farm with a bunch of dairy goats on it, to where we raise, we breed, and we show them. But we are currently in the midst of breeding season, and with that comes the methods that we use to breed our goats. And one of the methods is we have utilized using CIDRs, which is pronounced CIDR. And there's different variations of it. Like, people can call them CIDRs, people call them CIDRs, and I'll put it right here, but without looking at the actual label, I couldn't tell you what the abbreviation stands for. But mainly, in one of our previous videos that we released here, recently released it, it shows how we put a CIDR in a goat. So it's like a little suppository. You use some, lubricant, you insert it into the vulva of the doe, and then after somewhere between 10 to 14 days, you remove it, and the doe is supposed to go into heat within about 24 to 36 hours afterwards. Now, there are some other ways that you can manage CIDRs, and sorry for the sun in the background, I'm trying to keep it out of your way. So one of the things that you can do is, I've seen some people to where they give them a shot of Lutalize, which it's vet prescribed, but it is something that is given to livestock and with goats, to where it can bring them, it can either induce them into labor or it can bring them into heat. And so it's an injection, and sometimes people use it within conjunction of the CIDRs, either prior to putting a CIDR in, which I've seen people do that, but I don't understand, because I'm like, why are you wasting your money and giving, a shot to an animal that you are already giving a CIDR to that would bring her into heat in 10 to 14 days? Why would you give a shot of Lutalize to bring her into heat now if you're not going to breed her now? So I don't give a shot of Lutalize at the time that we put a CIDR in. A CIDR, it's got the chemical compound to it, to where, you saw in our video where we've got to wear gloves. And we, so you put it in once, and you'll see immediate changes within the first couple of days of the doe, as far as like, her behavior and stuff, and to do with the CIDR. Sometimes, which I'll show here in a minute whenever I grab a doe, because I'm going to remove one. And so, but mainly there's like a little plastic, well, I call it a string, but it's just a little plastic tab that sticks out from the end of the suppository, that looks like a T shape. The suppository, it goes in, it stays in their the vulva area, and then once you pull it out, you just pull it out, like for women, like a tampon. Sorry if it's a little graphic, but so it's a little plastic deal, and sometimes the goats, if they see it or whatever, they might be like, oh, what is this, and they might try and chew on it, or chew it out. So sometimes the goats, they might lose them in between that 10 to 14 days, and if they do, then they more than likely come into heat. And then if they don't, okay, I had to get away from the goats. But okay, so one of the other things is, if they don't lose it, then it might stick partially out, which is okay because it's still inside of them. It's it's not gonna hurt them or anything. Which I've got a couple that hey, quit chewing on the camera, stop. I've got a couple of them that it's partially sticking out, which I'll show you here in a moment. And then, which is fine, it's not completely out, so the hormones are still being released. But then after your 10 to 14 days, you're going to remove it. You know, you just pull it out, and then within, you know, 12, 24, 36 hours, depending on, you know, how long you keep it in, how strong, you know, it is, they'll release. Now, at this point, there are some people to where they will use Lutalize at the time that they pull out the cedar, because they want them to come into a really strong heat. Me, I'm not gonna waste my Lutalize on it. I haven't had one to fail. Yet. Knock on wood that I don't this year, but typically the doe will come into a heat off of the cedar within that you know, 12 to 36 hour time frame. So last year we had an issue with nearly 3/4 of our herd to where they would cycle. They started cycling in September of last year. They would cycle really hard. I mean, really strong heats, standing heats. We'd put them in with the buck, and they'd stand there, they'd get bred, and then, you know, 21 days, you know, 17 to 21 days later, they'd go into a really strong heat again. Or the ones that would have silent heats, they would just, we'd go to think, oh, they've been bred, and we'd go and ultrasound them at 35 to 40 days, and hey, Hope, knock it off. And, you know, at that point, they wouldn't be bred. They never took. So that's one reason why we're doing CIDRs this year. And this is a problem child. You are a problem child, Blueberry. All you do is get on me and paw at me and want loving. And what do? I give in because you're so darn cute. Isn't she cute? Okay, and she's a lap baby, so every time I move away, she's gonna follow me. Yep. Okay, so Raspberry here, we have put a cedar in. And one of the things is to where with her cedar, it went in just fine, but it is slightly sticking out, which is fine. And the discharge associated with it, completely normal. But here's the little tag. Hey, come on, Blueberry, get out of the way. Here's the little tag. So it's plastic, but sometimes if another doe sees that, they're gonna think, oh, I want to see what that is, and they might chew on it and they might pull it out. So that is a possibility. Okay, Blueberry, stop. But for the most part, she's good. Okay, and I keep trying to move away from the goats because they keep trying to eat my camera stand, which I don't want them to. Okay, so one of the things that you need, few supplies that you need to pull out a cedar is you need gloves. Hey guys, stop. You need some livestock lube because you don't want to just pull it out dry, because that could potentially hurt the doe. If you're like me and you need stuff written down, bring your list. So, and boy, do I have some chicken scratch dates on here. But anyway, so for today, we are gonna do 4 goats. Yeah, so 2 of them I couldn't get bred last year, and so that's one reason why I'm cedering, is I want to make sure that I get these girls bred before they kind of get on the chunky side. I've got with a couple of these girls, I've got some stud service set up, which we'll follow along in another video for that. But okay, so I've got Val here, which, yeah, sorry, it's a booty shot. Mainly, I am going to use my livestock lube, my gloves. Hey, Hope. Hope, go on. Okay. Now, I'm gonna hold the tail and put, yeah, she's like, no, don't touch me. Okay. But we are just going to straddle her, hold her up like this. Normally I would lift the tail. I've already put my lube on, and I'm just going to gently and slowly work my way and go down and pull it out. That's it. Okay, so I just took the CIDR out of Val. Here it is. Okay, that's the T-shaped and little plastic deal. You definitely want to wear gloves. But she has got some discharge from her vulva, which that's totally normal. And it's about 7:30 at night here right now. Probably within the next 12 to 24 hours she'll be in heat. I'm hoping closer to that 12, not to 24, but 12 to 18 hours, so that I can take her to get her bred. So, Blueberry, they don't want, after having a CIDR put in, they really don't want their booties messed with. Okay, so you can barely tell that her little string is there because she's pooped on it and stuff, but it's there, and it's all the way in. Okay, so we are gently, and you want to pull down towards the ground, but just at like a 45-degree angle, and just slowly put some pressure on there, and then poof, it pops out. And they're gonna have some discharge come with it, which is totally normal. Okay guys, so that is how you remove a CIDR from a goat. Hope you have a good one, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.